So now we're going to do a step-by-step build of this circuit right here. We have the 74HC14 integrated circuit right there, and it has some more letters written on it. But what's most important is what this integrated circuit is. So there's 6 of these Schmitt trigger NOT gates. You could also call them Schmitt trigger inverters right there. Whatever the input voltage is, whether it's a high enough voltage or a low enough voltage, the output will be the opposite. Now there's a middle ground region where if you were a high enough voltage and you drop to that middle ground region, then that stays high. But if you were low enough and then you get to that middle ground region, that stays low. But whatever this is, high or low, the output is the opposite. Output can provide power. It can light an LED a little bit, but not as well. So we're going to add a transistor. We're going to use an NPN bipolar junction transistor. We don't have to. We could use a PNP and switch with the other output, but we're going to do NPN there. So 2N3904, any bipolar junction transistor should work, but the pin layout may be different. I didn't put the pin layout there, but let's get to it. So for the timing, we're going to just use a 0.47 microfarad capacitor. We have the integrated circuit powered, positive supply once I apply power, positive supply to pin 14, negative supply to pin 7. These yellow jumpers are inputs that we are not using, and we have the input down there. The pin layout's the same for them, input above the output. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, we're going to go to that top pin right there, and that's going to be our capacitor. So we could use a different value that may change the timing. 1 million ohm resistor, so when the output is high, that will charge the capacitor right there through a 1 million ohm resistor. Low value capacitor, high value resistor, keeps the timing, somewhat slow right there. So we're going to put that to, the capacitor down to the output over there and put it to the right. So doing those first because they're kind of higher up. Keep them out of the way. And so high output will charge the capacitor, get a high enough voltage that sets the output low, and then the capacitor will discharge when the capacitor gets to a low enough voltage that sets the output high. And that's how the process keeps repeating itself. It's a clock in a way right there. Keeps alternating between high and low at a set amount of time. Now let's do the transistor first. So again, NPN bipolar junction transistor just needs a little bit of base to emitter current. So left pin is emitter, middle pin base, right collector. If we swivel it this way, now the bottom pin is the emitter, middle pin is base, and the top pin is collector. Pretty straightforward right there. Let's move it over, probably over to here, just to make it easier to see things. We're going to put our load on the high side, which means it comes from the positive supply. Again, if you want the load on the low side, you would use a PNP bipolar junction transistor, which switches with a low output, turns on. Not going to dwell on that too much. Just always remember with these circuits, there's a lot of options. So this should, that is not a 2200 ohm resistor. I don't know what I got that for. So yeah, this one right there. Okay, I see red for 2 and probably brown band for a 1 right there for 2200. So yeah, that needs to go to the output, the bottom pin right there. And looking through the camera was a little hard to tell. Usually shows up better when you're watching afterwards compared to when I'm making the video. And then red LED. So I got to make sure you put the red LED in the right direction. Short lead, the cathode there, heads to ground, and then long lead, the anode, heads to the positive supply right there. And we made this a little cramp, but this will be okay. So I had this jumper down farther, but that's a little too cramped. Let's move it down. I'm making this for absolute beginners. I want to make sure you can see everything pretty well, and I'm not sure where that flew off to. So now I found this jumper. It actually stuck in my hand right there, and then when I opened my hand it fell out. So we'll stick that there. But that's one thing with these boards. Sometimes if you don't get a good connection, it's still putting pressure on the component and it may fly out. That happens a lot with push button switches when you insert them, especially in a higher quality board where the metal is more spring-like, bounces back into shape instead of getting deformed. Those can shoot out. So yeah, let's move that red resistor and shuffle this down over there. So it should be easier to see right there. And so now we got that feedback resistor output is right there, and that's just for switching the transistor on or off as the output goes high and low. I believe we have enough current that we will get the transistor to saturate, turn on fully right there. And a 10 ohm resistor. So we're only working with 2 volts. Red LEDs have a forward voltage of 2 volts. We couldn't use a blue LED. It won't light up. We don't have enough voltage. And probably can get away without a resistor, just to the positive supply. But you may get a voltage spike where like higher current could flow or something, especially since we're using a transistor right there. So probably a good idea still to add a resistor. Just a general rule, usually you want something making sure current's limited through a resistor, or through an LED I mean, but probably be okay without it. You may see other people build similar circuits without it. Now, let's get to the power. So power is off right there, and we will connect it. So even though it's not connected, power supply voltage is still live. You should make sure no power is going to the circuit when you're building it. Although every once in a while you'll see me build them with the power. But there you can see we got the flash, and we have an LED that's you know, somewhat bright right there. So again, it's not much current, maybe like 2 milliamps of current. This might be averaging it out a little bit. Also, the cheap breadboard right there. If I get better connections, twist the component a little bit, there we go. We got a little bit better connection. So since we're dealing with low voltages here, it's cheap breadboard's going to affect it a bit. And yeah, we're that might be oscillating on and off. So yeah, I thought it might lock into either the high state or low state. That's what I should do, pull the resistor. There we go. So yeah, looks like we might only be dealing with about 1-2 milliamps current. This isn't as accurate as a multimeter either, so be aware of that. But in any case, there we go. Just kind of a fun circuit for practicing low voltage circuitry right there. You may have points where you're dealing with very low voltage and you want to make a working circuit out of it for whatever reason, and you got to figure out how. And you know, it's not too complex once you build a few low voltage circuits. So that's about it. Again, you'll see it better if I dim the lamp right there. So you know, this might be like a setup you use in like low light settings or something like that where you need to conserve power. But in any case, that's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out one of the other videos I'm posting on the screen, and check out the links down below. They all help out a lot. I'll see you in the next video.